Did you know that the way you cook and store your eggs could be affecting your health? Eggs are a staple in many diets, especially for us older adults who appreciate their nutritional benefits. But here's the kicker. Certain mistakes in handling and cooking eggs can turn this healthy food into a health risk. In this video, we'll uncover common mistakes that can make eggs harmful to your health and how to avoid them. Now, you might be thinking, I've been eating eggs for years. What could I be doing wrong? Well, let's dive into some surprising truths. Many of us believe that eggs are always a safe and nutritious choice, but studies show that improper storage and cooking methods can lead to issues like salmonella or nutrient loss. For instance, did you know that storing eggs in the wrong part of your fridge can increase the risk of contamination? Or that overcooking can destroy essential nutrients? Here's what we'll cover today. First, we'll explore the best ways to store your eggs to keep them fresh and safe. Next, we'll discuss cooking techniques that preserve their nutritional value. And finally, we'll reveal a common cooking mistake that many people make. This one might surprise you. By watching this video, you'll learn how to enjoy eggs safely and maximize their health benefits. So, if you find this information helpful, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get started. Let's talk about overcooking eggs. You might be thinking, how can you overcook an egg? But believe it or not, it happens more often than you'd think. You know when you boil an egg and it turns that weird greenish color? Yeah, that's a sign. Or when you fry an egg until it's crispy like a potato chip? That's another. Even overbaking an egg dish can do it. The thing is, when we overcook eggs, it can lead to something called oxidized cholesterol. Sounds a bit sciencey, right? But it's important because oxidized cholesterol can cause inflammation in our bodies, and nobody wants that. Now, why does this matter? Well, inflammation is like that annoying neighbor who just won't stop making noise. It can lead to all sorts of health issues if it sticks around too long. Plus, overcooking eggs can also mean losing some of those good nutrients we want to keep. It's like buying a fancy new car and then never changing the oil. Eventually, it just doesn't run as well. So, what can we do about it? The good news is there are simple ways to avoid these pitfalls. First, try cooking your eggs until they're just done. You know, like when the yolk is still a little soft and creamy. And if you're looking for a gentle cooking method, poaching is a great option. It's like giving your eggs a nice warm bath instead of a hot, fiery sauna. But why does overcooking cause these issues in the first place? Well, it's all about the chemical changes that happen when eggs are exposed to high heat for too long. It's like leaving a cake in the oven for too long. It just doesn't turn out right. So, what's your favorite way to cook eggs? Do you have a secret method that keeps them just right? Share it in the comments. We'd love to hear your tips and tricks. All right, let's dive into something that might surprise you. Eating raw or undercooked eggs. You know, it's one of those things that seems harmless, but it can actually expose you to some pretty nasty stuff, like salmonella. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I've been eating eggs for years and I'm fine. But the thing is, it only takes one bad egg to cause a problem. Think about it. Have you ever snuck a taste of raw cookie dough? I mean, who hasn't, right? Or maybe you've whipped up some homemade mayonnaise or enjoyed a soft-boiled egg with that perfectly runny yolk. These are all delicious, but they can be risky if the eggs aren't cooked properly. Salmonella is no joke. It can lead to foodborne illnesses and digestive issues that, trust me, you don't want to deal with. So what can we do about it? Well, the good news is, it's pretty simple. Just make sure your eggs are fully cooked. You want those yolks and whites to be firm. And of course, practice safe food handling. Wash your hands, clean your surfaces, and keep those eggs refrigerated. It's all about being a little extra cautious. Now, you might wonder why raw eggs are such a problem. Well, they can harbor bacteria that are killed during proper cooking. It's like a hidden danger that's easily avoidable with a bit of care. And honestly, who wants to spend their time dealing with a foodborne illness when you could be out enjoying life? Have you ever had a foodborne illness from eggs? If you have, I'd love to hear your story. It's always interesting to learn from each other's experiences. Sharing these stories can help us all be a bit more mindful in the kitchen. So let's keep the conversation going and make sure we're all staying healthy and safe. All right, let's talk about something that might seem simple but can actually make a big difference: how we store our eggs. You know, it's easy to just toss them in the fridge and forget about them, but improper storage can lead to some not-so-great outcomes. I mean, who wants to deal with food poisoning, right? First off, leaving eggs out of the fridge is a big no-no. Eggs need to be kept cold to prevent bacterial growth. Think of it like this: your fridge is like a cozy little fortress that keeps those pesky bacteria at bay. So always make sure your eggs are snug in there. And speaking of bacteria, using cracked eggs is another thing to watch out for. Cracks can let bacteria sneak in, and that's definitely not what we want. Now, let's chat about expiration dates. I know sometimes it feels like those dates are just suggestions, but when it comes to eggs, they're pretty important. Ignoring them can lead to spoilage, and nobody wants to crack open an egg only to find it's gone bad. So always give those dates a quick check before you start cooking. But how do you know if an egg is spoiled? Well, there are a few signs. If it smells off or has a weird texture, it's probably time to toss it. And if you're ever in doubt, there's a simple test. Place the egg in a bowl of water. If it floats, it's time to say goodbye. So what can we do to keep our eggs safe? Store them in the fridge, check for cracks, and pay attention to those expiration dates. It's all about being a little mindful, you know? I'm curious though, what are your tips for storing eggs safely? Maybe you've got a trick or two up your sleeve. Let's keep the conversation going and make sure we're all enjoying our eggs without any worries. You know, it's funny how the little things can make such a big difference. I remember my grandmother always saying, "An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure." And well, she was right. When it comes to food safety, even small changes in how we handle our food can lead to big health benefits. Like, have you ever thought about how just washing your hands before cracking an egg can prevent a whole host of issues? It's these tiny habits that add up. So, what about you? What changes have you made in your kitchen for better food safety? It's fascinating how these small tweaks can really impact our well-being. So, we've covered quite a bit today, haven't we? We talked about how overcooking eggs can actually make them less nutritious, and how eating them raw might not be the best idea, despite what some folks say. And then there's the whole thing about storing them properly. I mean, who knew eggs could be so complicated, right? But the thing is, with just a few simple tweaks, you can enjoy your eggs without any worries. You know, I remember my grandmother always saying, "A little care goes a long way," and I think that really applies here. By just being a bit more mindful about how we cook and store our eggs, we can keep them as a healthy part of our diet. It's like small changes can lead to big benefits, and that's something we can all appreciate. If you found this video helpful, I'd love it if you could like, subscribe, and maybe even share it with a friend who might find it useful. It's always nice to spread a little knowledge, don't you think? Thank you so much for watching. Remember, taking care of ourselves doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it's just about making those little adjustments. So stay safe, stay healthy, and keep enjoying those delicious eggs. Until next time.